Hello, and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I think this is the slasher's version of a zombie movie.
And I'm Gary. And today we're going to review and discuss Diary of the Dead, which came out in 2007, written and directed by George A. Romero. Iain, why don't you give us the synopsis?
Well, the story follows a group of film students who have been caught out at the beginning of the zombie apocalypse. One of the film students decides that he's going to document the whole incident on camera. But we start to question ourselves as the film goes on, is this the right thing to do? Or are we just looking at it through the wrong perspective?
Now, George A. Romero, he did Land of the Dead, but the films before that one were all independent films. And he really wanted to just go back to a simpler time of movie making. He said that Universal gave him creative control, and he wasn't confined, but he still kind of felt it. He still was on set and be like, oh, I want to film that, but I've got to run it through producers who have got to run it through the budget and just go, no, we can't, you're wasting time, George. And so he wanted to go back to a simpler time, but he said in interviews that he had the idea of a film of students out making a horror film when the zombie outbreak occurs. He just didn't really... It was only as times moved on that modern news and YouTube and MySpace were sort of taking over.
Fucking hell, MySpace,
where everybody has video cameras. That he kind of just thought, I'm going to take what's happening in society today with an old idea that I had to put this film together. And he wanted this to be a straight to DVD kind of affair. He didn't want the budget. He just wanted to have a simple story and a simple tale. And a story that he could tell.
Yeah.
But of course, other people got wind of what George was doing and they're like, look, George, we can't let you go and do that. We're going to give you some money. We're going to get this theatrically released. We'll still make it a low budget thing, but, we can't let you go straight to DVD. And that's kind of where Diary, was conceived.
Yeah. I remember when Diary first came out on DVD, I'd heard it, but I wasn't really bothered about it after what happened with Land. And I was just like, Night, Dawn, and Day are the best fucking films in the series, They're
not just the best films in the series, they're the best zombie films.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But then George A. Romero comes along and goes, hey, I'm making another zombie movie. And it's like, initially you get that quick bit of excitement, like, ooh. And then you go, ooh, what's the conceptual idea, George? What are you doing now? Well, you know how we live in this universe now of everybody's got a camera and they're just recording everything? What if the zombie apocalypse happened and everybody had a camera and they could record everything? And it's like, so like Wreck,
Yeah.
And like the Zombie Diaries, which was a British horror movie that came out literally a year before your release of your zombie movie, which, you bought both of them. And he said to me one night, like, hey man, look at these zombie movies. I got Diary of the Dead and the Zombie Diaries. It's like, oh, okay. No.
Well, I remember seeing Diary in the cinema and coming out, and there was a lot of George A. Romero fans there on that opening day of Diary of the Dead, and everyone came out pretty buzzed, But even I came out of the cinema going, "Wow, I just saw another George A. Romero movie in the cinema. Like, how exciting was that?"
Yeah.
And it was like I kept my cinema ticket. It was like that was awesome. But as the years have gone by, and revisited Diary of the Dead.
Yeah.
And it is the black sheep of the series. It's really just a bad film.
It's initially set the night of Night of the Living Dead. This film group of film students are going out and they're recording this really shitty horror movie in the woods. So I'm like, ha ha, look what George A. Romero's done. He's taken all those old stories of people who are making horror movies in the woods off the back of watching Night of the Living Dead because it was an independent movie, and he's gone, hey, let's make a story out of that. No, this is the big no there, George, because all these students now I don't care about. I know I said this in Land of the Dead. I didn't care about the people in Land of the Dead. I really don't care for any of the people in Diary of the Dead. Because right off the back, you've got Joshua Close playing Jason. He's the cameraman throughout this whole entire fucking adventure.
Well, he's not the only one though, is he?
No, I was getting to that part, right? he's the main guy.
Yeah.
And he's the main guy who says, he tries to justify it through George A. Romero's message through to us. That the reason why he has to keep the camera on all time is so that he can tell the world this story. But it's the fact the film starts with Deborah, played by Michelle Morgan, narrating to us that this was all Jason's idea and that they were all along for the ride because they all kind of got caught up in the moment. But she took the time, this is at the start of the fucking film, she took the time to take all the footage that they had acquired through the adventure that we're about to go through in the film and sat down and re-edited it all so that we could have the cuts and we could have the music placements.
So we know she survives to the end then.
yeah.
The film was shot with a Panasonic HDX 900 and an HVX 200. I did the final cut on Jason's laptop. I've added music occasionally for effect, hoping to scare you. You see, in addition to trying to tell you the truth, I am hoping to scare you, so that maybe you'll wake up.
Now, I kind of like the initial setup. I like behind the scenes footage of films, and so watching them. You see George Romero having a stab at the running zombies where they complain that the mummy's moving too fast. It's just like, okay, that's fine. But then, the film just starts to dissolve almost immediately where the characters are just like, look, we don't know what's going on. We've just had this strange report, so, screw this film. Let's go home.
Well, we had that shitty news bit at the beginning, didn't we? Where this news crew have turned up at this building.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it where the cameraman goes up to the ambulance and just like, you're in our shot, can you move? It's like, that doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen.
No, the camera crew moves if they want to get another angle.
That's the thing, because they were trying to emphasize that the camera is the most important part of this whole movie. Everything that, you just know that everything is falsely placed in front of you to kind of make it. So the ambulance there, it's like a joke. Come on, get out of the way. And then you hear the news reporter saying, well, I'm here to do this because some guy has shot his wife and his son, It's not even remotely loosely connected to Night of the Living Dead. And this is supposed to be the start. While all this is happening, Barbara's on her way to the fucking graveyard with Johnny.
Yeah.
That's what we're supposed to understand. Let's get past the fact that it's not even set in the same time zone.
Well, yeah, you have to have a headcanon that if you want to make it work.
Well, that's what I do. I have to completely unheadcanon it just to get through the opening of this film. And I look at this, people, they start, the zombies start to get up and they're boring looking, really. They're just, even the few attacks that we start to see in the background and the cameraman's like, hey, what's that? I'm just going to zoom in on it.
Yeah.
I'd rather see him frantically run over and try to get face. You know how good Wreck was?
Yeah.
And this is how I see this. It's like George A. Romero watched Wreck and went, I can do that better.
The thing that gets me is that straight away you see the CGI-ness of it all. I mean, I know there was bits of CGI in Land, but in this one it's just like even the gunshot wounds and everything else, just like this, it just feels fake.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fakery here that, and my brain is telling me that it's not real. It doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
Even in Land of the Dead, some of the effects look kind of off by today's standard. You still feel it's believable. It's because it's actually on screen.
Yeah.
And, and George, Tom Savini at this point kind of retired from doing special effects and films, kind of running his own workshops and in his own teachings. And George kind of called Greg Nicotero, who's obviously been on board since Day of the Dead, and Land of the Dead. But he was working on Grindhouse with Tarantino and Rodriguez, so he was busy. So Nicotero kind of called a couple of the people that he worked with on Land of the Dead and a few others and just went, look, go and work with George and don't fuck it up. and
they fucked it up.
They did a serviceable job.
Yeah.
It's unremarkable when you compare it to the previous installments. Otherwise, it's just like, okay, it's kind of like what you'd expect from college students putting together some effects.
I was going to say, it's amateurish.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. And it's... I try to avoid saying that it's George A. Romero's amateurish style, but the fact that he okayed it all.
Yeah. Well, with interviews that I looked into with those that were then doing the practical effects, they had no time at all. Like, it was
worse.
just like, there was no time given. The entire film was shot in like 23 days. And, you know, and so there was just no prep time for those that were doing the practical effects to really get in there and do what they needed to do.
Yeah.
And because there was then the reliance of the CGI-ness, it was just like, you don't have to worry too much. We'll just CGI. We'll just add in the extra blemishes and injuries and in post.
Oh, it's fucking horrible. After the initial attack and the fact that we go to zombie apocalypse happening, you know, the kids have heard all this information on the radio and quickly now split up. Now, if there's one thing I hate about fucking camera footage movies, when the person's carrying camera, unless it's something like Wreck, which is like fucking continuous over the case of a couple of hours that were, you know, I can live in the Wreck world where the guy turns the camera off and then it's back on like 30 seconds later because he's like, oh, you know, I want to keep it on. In this, you know, it's like, oh, I'm just going to turn the camera off and then I'll turn it back on. An undisclosed amount of time later, because Jason turns up at the fucking college and everybody's evacuated. Everybody has abandoned this place because the dead are rising.
Yeah, I'm like, it's only been a couple of hours into the zombie apocalypse beginning.
Yeah.
And already there's looters. You got the guy running out. He's like, yeah, I'm stealing shit.
Yeah, I've just got this TV.
Like,
what are you doing here?
He's like, he already knows it's the end of the world. It's like, no.
Oh.
It takes at least a couple of days, at least.
Well, but what makes it worse is when Jason gets to his girlfriend's dorm room and she's there with this trophy. Like, she's going to bash the heads in of people who are going to break in her door. Looters are just going to bash in her door and kill her and shit. But no, we got to establish that Jason kind of loves his girlfriend Deborah, but she starts to hate him over the course of the movie because of his detachment from society and the way he wants to show off his fucking... The death of death. Like, that's the title of the fucking documentary film, the death of death.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that he walks into the bedroom as well and he's just like, she's like, why have you still got your camera? And he's like, oh, because it's the point of the movie. And he puts the camera on the bed, and this is where I first noticed the horrible placement. It's just the way he's angled the camera so that when he and her step to hug, they are in the shot perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, no fucking person does that. You know, unless it's a found footage movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny. You spend so much time resenting your parents, separating yourself, building your own life. But as soon as the shit hits the fan, the only place you want to go is home.
So, you know, they realize that the entire university campus is deserted.
Yeah.
like everybody got the memo, you know, it's time to go. And so like, okay, we're gonna jump into the camper van, and we're gonna go home, you know, and we'll drop you off on the way.
Yeah, which is a big road trip.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the American geography too well, but from what I've looked at, the miles, the comparison that they do is completely off.
Oh, yeah.
Which, like,
well, it's
okay,
Deborah,
whatever.
isn't it? Deborah's the main girl. She's the one who's narrating.
Yeah.
But she needs to go see her family.
Well, they all want to go home.
Yeah.
And then that's where Jason kind of does I'm going to sit in the back and interview everybody.
Yeah.
Now,
so you get to know them.
There's a character in Fear the Walking Dead that, you know, she's a reporter. She goes around with a camera and she films people and she's collecting stories. Mm-hmm. But it's done in a really believable way.
Yeah.
You know, but in this sequence, it just feels really forced.
Yeah.
You know, but then that is also a part of what George Romero kind of wants to do, his message. Because there's a sequence where the girl driving,
yeah.
she rides over and kills like 3 zombies.
Mary,
yeah, she kills 3 people, you know, and that's how Jason kind of makes her feel, like, you've just murdered those 3 people, even though we know they're zombies. And then Jason's got the camera in Mary's face, like, you just killed 3 people. How do you feel? Tell us. Tell the audience at home.
Bullshit.
And it's like, and that's George's commentary on the news. It's kind of like, you know, they don't care about people. They just want the story.
Yeah, but that's what makes it so false. Is that the fact that I'm supposed to believe that there's another 5 other people in the back of this Winnebago, and if I was part with them, and somebody's just run over a bunch of people just to keep us alive, and Gary's there with a camera and shoves it in this person's face and makes them feel really awkward. I'd take the camera off you and fucking punch you with it.
Right.
You know, I wouldn't just sit there and go, well, I'll just wait my turn until he puts the camera in my face. You know, because we get introduced to everybody. So we got Mary, the girl driving on the Winnebago. She's not in it for long, so don't worry about her. We've got Deborah, you know, Jason's girlfriend, who just seems to be pissed at him right from the start. Like, their relationship's going to end.
Yeah.
Like, and you know it. And you've got Tony. Now, Tony, as the film progresses, starts to get a thing for Deborah. And as Jason's the cameraman, we just sit there and watch it.
I recognise that actor.
Yeah.
He was in Land of the Dead. He was the rookie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you know what else he went on to be?
No?
Wesker from the Resident Evil franchise.
Oh, I don't remember those films.
Yeah, I think he turned up in Revelations and one of the others. I think he was the one at the White House, actually.
Right.
Before the White House exploded. But we've also got Tracy and her boyfriend. Tracy seems alright. She was the damsel in distress in the shitty horror movie that they were making.
I liked her character.
Yeah, you kept thinking that she was going to be the bumbling blonde, but actually she's probably more fucking...
She's probably more intelligent than the rest of them.
Yeah, probably capable. Actually, there's a part in the movie, I'll bring it up later, that I was just like, see ya.
Yeah, right. Yeah, hell yeah.
We've got Elliot Stone. He wants to go home. Everyone just wants to go home, really. And then we've got Professor Maxwell.
I really like him as well. He's an enigma. You know, he is such a strange person that you don't. You know, he is just as strange as the apocalypse around him.
yeah. Because like the rest of the teachers left him.
Right.
Like, he's got no family, no kids, nobody, nothing to go home for, no pets, nothing.
Apparently, he was in the war.
Oh,
you know,
which one? No.
He's a raging alcoholic.
Yeah, because he fucking drinks the whole
He's super
time.
proficient with a crossbow.
One of the most annoying fucking factors of this movie as well is the date that kept popping up. Like, initially we get October 24th. And then for 3 times, this whole sector, this whole next section, it just is October 25th. It never changes. It's October 25th in the early hours of the morning, 4:13 a.m. You know, Mary has just run over 3 zombies. Everybody's freaking out, and she jumps out and she runs outside and just sits in the middle of the field.
Yeah,
and
she's collecting her thoughts, you know.
Yeah, and everybody's obviously discussing what they should do, you know, and it's boring as fuck because this is supposed to be a zombie apocalypse. You know, this should be just coming out of the fucking tree line. But no, we're just here with our main characters, and then all of a sudden, bang, Mary shoots herself in the face. Now, I don't care about Mary that enough to really question why she would want to commit suicide after killing 3 strangers.
I think it might have been a religious thing.
That's what I get, but
yeah.
I'm like, then she's blatantly not happy about wanting to stay alive, so why attempt to rescue her?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like as a zombie apocalypse movie fucking fanatic and a George A. Romero fan, watching a movie by George A. Romero, anybody who suffers a head wound that does not kill them is not going to come back normal.
Right. But yeah, I mean, even before that sequence, there was just that awful moment where they pull up and there's you know, a crash in the road.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we can't get around, we'll have to go back. I'm like, you see all that space on the right hand side?
Yeah.
You know? And then the cop kind of, you know, wanders around.
Oh,
wanders
the flaming cop, yeah.
Yeah, and he bangs up against the side, jump scare moment because the camera keeps cutting out.
Yeah.
And then they take off, and that's when she kills the 3 of them. But then they kind of rush to a hospital. You know, thankfully we skip the driving to the hospital.
Yeah,
and they're just there.
That's not what you want in a zombie apocalypse movie, showing all of the signs of the apocalypse. You just want to cut the camera off.
But then the hospital is deserted.
Oh,
I'm just like, this is the opening hours, the first day of the zombie outbreak.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me that that hospital would be empty already.
Well, it's not completely empty, is it?
No.
They come across a nurse and a doctor zombie.
I recognise the doctor.
Yeah.
That's Greg Nicotero.
Oh,
he actually turned up for a day to help supervise some of the zombie work and got to play a zombie doctor.
Well, he was in this sequence because, this sequence was shit. You know, they see these zombies, and I think, was it fucking Tracy's boyfriend? I think he was called Thorson. Tracy's boyfriend. He has a gun, and he shoots shoots a doctor, and as he starts to run out of ammo, Deborah comes running along with the electrical paddles
Yeah, and then defibs the zombie nurse until her eyes explode out of her face.
I mean, what the fuck, man? What was the fucking point? Oh, I don't know. I've never dealt with anything like this before. This is the first time I've ever seen this case of anything. I'm not even using the Z word, but I know exactly how to use this defibrillator. And okay.
Well, we kind of know how they work.
Yeah, okay, but electricity coursing through the brain of a person should just immediately just kill them, right?
Yeah.
But not this zombie.
No. Yeah, George just, he was just like, it's part of the mythology now that a defib unit to the head won't kill a zombie.
Yes, it will. High voltage will fucking burn the brain.
It was enough to pop the eyes, wasn't it?
Pop the fucking eyes out.
That's what I thought. I was like, okay, whatever.
It was just a case of we need this zombie to come back to make it a bit more scary. And I'm like, fuck off.
There are some really bad CGI parts in the film. The eye popping wasn't awful, but
it was pointless. So much pointless to the fact that Jason's like...
It was funny. That's what I thought. It's kind of funny.
Dawn of the Dead funny or Land of the Dead funny?
Diary of the Dead funny.
Jason realizes that the battery's dying on the camera, and God forbid he leaves this camera, because then we'll have no film.
Now, a lot of people complain that, we see the battery meter on the camera. Of course, anyone with a camera knows that it doesn't record that. So then I just have to think, well, we know that this whole thing's been edited, so Deborah, when editing this together, must have put the battery symbol on there.
To give you context of why the camera kept going out.
Why not? Because when their friends are being attacked by zombies, she sticks in horror music.
She does.
It's like... Who does that with real life horror situations? Like, I'm just going to, make it jump scary for those that watch the horror of my friends being eaten and committing suicide. And
why not edit out the parts where you were just acting like fucking gimps? Like this part in the hospital, like Jason turns on the camera as it's still plugged in while it's charging. That's not going to allow it to charge, mate. I know how chargers work. That doesn't work. And he realizes that Mary isn't fully alive or dead yet, she's in a state of shock, but we hear a scream and you're like, oh my god, what the fuck was that? And Jason's shouting like, hello, is anybody there? Because obviously these corridors are absolutely vacant. And Deborah jumps out from behind the corner. What were you screaming about, Deborah? Well, I found another camera.
Hello.
I found this in one of the other rooms. Tell us your name.
I'm sorry, what? You screamed during a zombie apocalypse in an abandoned hospital because you found a camera?
No, and they found the other zombie.
Yeah, they found the other zombie. That's what actually scared her.
Yeah.
That's what actually... But we don't see it.
No.
And it's fucking annoying as fuck. It's like, well, why... At least have her come around the corner with the zombie struggling, and then Jason has to choose between her or the camera. And have the camera point at an awkward angle so that we just see the scuffle. Maybe the feet hit it. Make it more exciting. No, I just have to sit here, and Deborah realizes that she's got a camera and Jason's got a camera now. How does it feel, Jason? Now you're on camera. How does it feel? And he's not really affected.
No.
He's not. It's like, we've got two now. Yay.
So now we can edit between two cameras for the rest of the film.
Yay!
Oh god.
So Mary turns, and everybody's in absolute shock about what to do with her. And this is where Professor Maxwell kind of proves that he's not a team player of the group, because none of the people can bring themselves to shoot Mary. So the professor just takes the gun and blows her away.
He gives the gun to the other guy. He's like, yeah, it's too easy to use that, so you keep it. Okay, Professor.
I'm like, the professor's the fucking security guard. He should have all the weapons.
Right.
He'll kill everything. But they start to wander out of the hospital.
This next sequence just bugs the shit out of me.
Oh, well, fucking hit it, man.
Because, throughout the film, Jason with the camera, and then at some point Deborah with the camera, whoever else has got the other camera, when their friends are being attacked, do not put the camera down to help them. They're just like, I need to film this for posterity. Yeah. I need to film this for YouTube. It's going to get me millions of hits to watch my friend get eaten. You know, and when they're walking out of the, you know, back through the hospital, the camera's behind everybody, and we watch the zombie.
Stealth zombie.
Yeah,
Stealth zombie.
I mean, the zombie's on camera, and Jason's there. He could be like, "Hey, mate, there's a zombie behind you." He's like, "Fuck it, let it happen."
And it just bites Gordo on the arm, fucking Tracy's boyfriend.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Oh my god, I'm so, you know, I don't know what to do." And the fact that the professor is giving Jason shit all the way through this, like, you know, giving him grief about not wanting to put the camera down, you know, and how he has to document this and does it detach you from human. I'm like, I don't care, okay? I barely cared about the messages the first 3 movies because I was just there for the zombie death, really. But then as I got older, I kind of understood that there was this hidden message in there, and it kind of made me appreciate the movies more. Then Land came along, and I was like, I don't fucking care about the message. Okay, I really fucking don't. I just want some zombie death. And then Diary of the Dead comes along, like, with a message. I'm like, I don't fucking care about this message, you know? We're just now following Jason recording Tracy and her boyfriend. Oh, he's not going to come back. Well, he is. It's a George A. Romero movie. He's coming back. No, he's not going to come back. I kind of liked that bit where she was sat in front of the body, you know, and they're watching, and he kind of sits up and she shoots him in the face.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, she's not a, you know, you kind of half expect her to break into tears and not be able to.
She's not a damsel, yeah.
No,
she can handle herself.
She's blam, blown away, and fucking walks away. And we're like, okay, so that's 2 members of this film crew just dead.
You also had that other zombie turn up where he kind of impaled him
several
times, and he was kind of turning to Jason, was it Tony?
Yeah,
just like, look, you know, is a real person going to survive this? Do you believe us now that it's really zombies, the dead coming back to life? Because, you know, at this point he was just like, yeah, fake news. Fake news. It's not real.
Fucking.
I should point out that there's a whole host of celebrities that lent their voices to the news reports.
I was going to say this as well. Yeah.
The first one that recognised was Simon Pegg. Mm-hmm. You know, he's the one who's talking about how the number of zombies are multiplying.
Yeah.
Even though the maths is completely wrong, because he's like, they're going to quadruple in number 100%. And I'm like, who wrote that?
George A. Romero.
They even had Guillermo del Toro come in, and he's the one who talks about the immigration and how zombies are coming over the border.
Right.
They had Stephen King. He's the one who's just like, you'll be on your fucking knees. You even had Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
He does one of the voiceovers. They even had Wes Craven in there as well, and even Tom Savini actually recorded a piece of audio. I mean, he's the one in the hospital actually saying, "You got to shoot him in the head."
Yeah. But it's so fucking shit because, you know, you got these great named actors.
Yeah.
And it's just radio broadcast, which you're only really listening to if you're actually trying to avoid the acting.
Well, all of the radio and news bits were my favourite part of the film.
Yeah.
Again, you know, because those were the ones that were really showing you what was going on in the world. And that was what I wanted with a zombie film at the beginning of the apocalypse, was to show it to me.
Yeah.
Not follow a bunch of kids around these few locations where the zombie apocalypse isn't really happening.
Oh, it does happen. And it happens so majestically, you're not even sure if you fucking watched it the fucking first time round. So watching it the second time round, you're totally sure it fucking happened. The kids turn up at a farm in their Winnebago, and it's starting to break down. But Tracy, the girl from Texas who's just killed her boyfriend, can fix it. It's like, this girl can do fucking everything. She should be the fucking star. But while they're at the farm, they come across a deaf Amish guy called Samuel.
Samuel is awesome.
Whoa, stop. I don't think he's dead. He might not be dead.
Oh.
Who are you? He's asking us who we are.
I love his introduction. He's just like, yeah, I can't hear you.
He's
like, oh shit, look out.
It's one fucking guy.
Yeah, with a scythe and dynamite.
You're like the farm is like a blatant set piece. Like, not even filmed outside. Not even close to even looking like Herschel's farm. It's a blatant fucking set piece. And when they turn up, you know, the 3 zombies are there, and Samuel's just like, I can't speak, but here's a stick of dynamite. And he lobs it, and he literally, it's so stupid. Like, I wanted to laugh, and I think this is why I laughed and it made it a bit funnier than Land of the Dead. This is how bad the sequence is. It was better than Land of the Dead. It was where he throws the dynamite and the zombies explode, and it cuts back to Samuel, and he's just got his arms crossed as all the shit falls down the sky.
Well, no, he holds up the sign. It says, "Hello, I'm Samuel."
Yeah.
It's just like, that's brilliant. I clap every time. I'm just like, that's so cool. It's the best bit of the whole film. I'm like, I love this guy already.
Where did he go? Christ. Jesus Christ. I thought the Amish were friendly folk.
It's like the only bit you should ever really watch of this film.
Yeah. And so a slight amount of time passes, and then they're like...
A slight amount of time. They get chased into the barn.
Yeah.
They get chased in the barn, they lock it up, and they're like, we need to fix this while we're also under attack by zombies. The back door's open. So, like, they turn up at this farm, and a fucking shit ton of zombies turn up. Like, there's initially 3, Samuel uses a stick of dynamite, now there's 50. But you don't get really to see them because we're following Jason in the camera and he can only really look through the cracks in the doors. And we're also trying to cover with fucking Tracy, who's underneath the Winnebago. But it's all so quick. It's just like, we've got to keep the action. This is our action set piece. I'm like, this is your action set piece.
This is the Night of the Living Dead siege moment where the zombies are at the door.
And they all push. Like, Samuel is such a wasted character because I have no idea why he's there, if it's his farm, if there's any other family members, why he wants to help these people over helping himself. You know, he really puts himself at risk to the point where he manages to get everybody else on board the Winnebago and gets bitten on the neck by a zombie. And in one of my only favourite bits of this whole film, he takes his scythe, spins it on the spot, and jams it in his own face.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's amazing.
It's amazing and it's awful at the same time.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I like the fact that the actors managed to pull that stunt off. Obviously, you know, there was no blade on the stick. You know, it was all CGI put in. The blade as it's coming out kind of has the wrong kind of lighting or sheen on it. It's just like too wrong silvery or whatever.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that the actors managed to mime it quite well. And it's just sad to see Amish go so soon. It's like, we hardly even knew you.
Gentlemen, hurry.
Oh my god.
And so they keep on going, and they're running out of gas. They've got no supplies. The professor's out of booze.
Yeah.
And they end up getting pulled over by a couple of black men with guns.
Yeah, it's like their own gang.
And they're just kind of like, okay, we're taking you all with me. And they take them all to this big warehouse.
Yeah.
And this gang's just like, we've looted, we've stocked up. I'm like, this apocalypse happened like 6 hours ago.
Like, these guys are organised.
You guys have organised your posse ready for the end times.
Well, I find this kind of believable if it was a neighbourhood. Like, if we're talking like a South Central neighbourhood or a rundown neighbourhood, the gang would lock everything down. They'd be very protective and they would look after themselves. But we don't get any idea of that in this movie. You know, this group of black men just turn up and have this place.
Yeah.
I love the fact that it's like, well, we need to use your Wi-Fi. Right, okay, why? It's because I just want to check some stuff out. But no, it's really because Jason and Elliot want to edit the first half hour of the movie and have it uploaded to the internet for people to watch. I'm like, that's really good technology you've got there. Like, that's some of the best upload fucking editing software that I've
They edited that lickety-split, didn't they?
Lickety fucking split. Like, we need that fucking shit.
But then we find out that one of the crew had a bad heart.
Oh, God, yeah.
And has died. And the zombie's ninjaed out of there. They can't find him.
They have no idea where he is.
Stealth zombie is hiding somewhere.
Yeah.
And you know, they go around the corner. Do they kill that person? And then they're like, oh shit, that wasn't him.
Yeah, that's right. They kill one guy and they're like, that was not him. It's like, you're going to deal with that then? 'Cause... And then they get the actual zombie, but instead of trying to kill him...
They're just going to film it, like, from both ends.
Oh, yeah. And George A. Romero is going to show off where he put a lot of his budget by having acid splashed into the zombie's head.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely melt his brain.
Now, it was, hydrochloric acid or something?
But
that acid like that would only burn the skin off. It wouldn't burn away the skull, the brain, or anything like that.
Dude, I gave up thinking about this film.
The thing is, the acid splashes down his top as well, and it doesn't even burn a single fabric of his clothing.
No, and we literally just have to watch that slow. And I was sat there like, wow, we're actually going to watch this whole thing melt, aren't we?
Yeah.
You know, it's not even going to just... He's not even just going to fall on the floor. We have to actually intricately watch the detail of his head melt so that he then falls on the floor and we go, oh, he died of acid burn.
The effect wasn't atrocious, but it wasn't, noteworthy either. It's kind of memorable in the fact that it happens.
It was better than the eye popping.
Yes,
and the
I appreciate the fact that those that animated it, had to match it with the stumbling zombie on a shaky cam.
Yeah,
I was like, that kind of works. They blended it well, but that's about it.
So, just in case you lost track, we're still on October 25th. The film has already told us like 3 times, just before Mary died, then as the gang turned up, and now it's still October 25th, but it's more midday because Deborah has convinced everybody to head back to her family's house. What's the fucking point? We already know, or you should already know, that these people are fucking dead. Because anybody we've come across is literally a walking fucking suicide attempt. And so we get to the house, and Deborah's just walking around like, Mom, Dad, I've got no care for my safety or anybody else's safety with me. I'm just hoping that somebody will say something. No? Okay, I'm going to still assume that you're alive. Even when I go to the garage and I find the car and it's got a smashed window and blood there, I'm still going to have hope that you're okay. I'm like, for fuck's sake, just give it up. I know going back to like Dawn of the Dead, there's that moment where Peter's like, oh, maybe Flyboy's okay, and you've still got a bit of hope. But the elevator door is open and he's turned. So from that point, George A. Romero had always instilled in me that even if you have slight hope in this apocalyptic world, it's useless. Because... So I know her fucking family is fucking dead. Up until the point where she walks around the corner and her feral brother jumps on her fucking shoulders. And she has to fight him.
And everyone just stands and watches or films it.
Yeah.
And I hate this bit. When I watched it in the cinema, I was like, "Oh, that was fucking awesome. That was really cool." But then, like, when I watch it on Blu-ray or DVD, and I'm just like, "That's fucking stupid." Like, a crossbow, whatever. He shoots the zombie kid off her, and he gets impaled on the wall.
Yeah. And
I'm just like, first thing, bolts, when you get hit by them, they impale you. They don't go right through you. Not with that force. And, with a plaster wall like that, it's not going to be strong enough to hold, even the bolt itself's not going to be strong enough to hold.
Why did he go
to the wall.
up? Because it kind of goes up. He should have just gone flying back.
It was for the effect. I mean, the effect, they pulled it off well. But the reality of it is it just wouldn't work.
Is Maxwell like that good of a fucking archery fucking hose that he can...
It's part of his unknown backstory.
Oh, man. But then the mum attacks.
Yeah.
Like, Deborah's still walking around her house, like, looking for her mum. She kind of runs around like the girl does from Scary Movie. Like, ah! And she comes across her mum, and her mum's munching on her dad. You're like, you're all dead. Shocked. I was shocked. Does the professor kill her as well?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, the professor knows fucking everybody.
I mean, he's a great character.
He's
just
fucking
taking
kills
care of
everybody.
it. But, you'd expect her to be psychologically kind of Barbara for the rest of the film, wouldn't you? But she just carries on the rest of the film, just like, I'll get over it.
Yeah. While this has been going on as well, we've been hearing information through Jason from the mummy guy from the beginning, Riley, or Ridley.
Yeah.
Who's rich and he's got a big house and it's got big walls and all of his family are there, and so he's like, "Hey guys, just come to us. We're having such a great time." I'm like, "You fucking idiot!" Like, nobody has a great time in the fucking zombie apocalypse except you rich wanker. And so everybody decides, obviously, to just drive there. Then they leave Deborah's house, and on the way, they're pulled over by a group of soldiers.
Yeah.
Now these.
I recognised the actor straight away. I was like, yep, that's the guy from Land of the Dead. That was Burbank or Burbaker? Brubaker. That was it. I had to get there eventually. He only had a small role in that. But now he's the Sarge of the National Guard. I just look at him in this and I'm just like, he's like... he's a really young Negan, the way he turns up, and he's just like, right, turn the camera off, let's be friends, I'm taking all your stuff.
Yeah. This is the only part, I mean, spoilers, it's the only part of any of the George A. Romero movies that has continuity into the next movie.
Where an actual character moves from one to the next.
Yeah,
yes.
and they do this scene over.
Well, other than Tom Savini's zombie character from Dawn into Land.
Fuck off.
That is the same character.
I know. Fuck off. Fuck off that shit.
Want to turn that off, son? Turn it the fuck off. Now.
So yeah, all their stuff is taken, and then they're just kind of depressed, sat in the back of the Winnebago as they ride off to Ridley's place.
Yeah, and then they finally turn up there, and
the door's open.
Yeah, the door's open. The mansion is empty. Everybody is not entirely worried. After everything they've gone through, this whole fucking movie, they're still not even on edge or worried or anything like that.
Yeah.
But they come across Ridley, who has been hiding in a safe room.
Jump scare moment where he opens up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Ridley, you scared us half to death.
You came. Oh, this is great.
And he comes out, and people are questioning him, like, "Where's the girl that you were with?
Where's your family?
Where's your family?" And they're like, "Oh, they're out the back. They're fine." And you just know that he's way too happy for somebody who is in a zombie apocalypse. It just doesn't match with the way everybody else acts. And Tony has been given the camera by Jason at this point, and so he's going around doing all the work with Deborah. And now we'd already seen Deborah and Tony kind of slightly getting together throughout the film, and I'm like, I don't really care about this whole fucking relationship. It doesn't actually lead anywhere. No, it doesn't. So what pointless fucking 25 minutes of my life that plot hole was. And then they follow Ridley, who's obviously going to show them where he buried everybody, because they obviously turned and died, and he's having to bury them. But he buried them in a swimming pool.
This is where I buried them.
Sweet Jesus.
It's a Deadpool.
So this would make the diary of the Deadpool.
Right.
It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's an awful CGI mess looking at it.
Yeah, and they noticed the little blood on his arm, so
which wasn't there in previous shots.
No,
I was looking.
Nobody's actually wondered why he's still wearing the outfit that he was wearing on the set, and he's been wearing it for almost 2 days now.
Yeah, right. Well, that's because he got to the house and then just got plastered drunk. Probably as a result of seeing his dead family.
Yeah, well, his girlfriend was still alive, though. She was on the laptop when they were talking to fucking Jason.
Yeah.
And, But we slowly watch Ridley turn. Like, one of the worst zombie turns I think I've ever seen. He
collapses and just falls over.
Yeah.
And then the next shot, he kind of gets up. And then he wanders into the bathroom where the guy's blow drying his hair.
And attacks him.
Crashes him into the bath.
Like, I didn't care.
Electrocute kills him. Yeah. The power goes out.
Yeah.
Next shot, power's back on. And zombie Ridley wanders, he wanders outside, and then he attacks the girl at the Winnebago.
Yeah, he attacks Tracy.
And the cameraman just films that as well. Just like, I'm not going to help you.
Oh man, it's such a shit fucking piece. It's such a shit fucking set piece, because she's just like, "Are you not going to help me?" And he's like, with the camera, and I'm like, this girl is blatantly saying to you, put the fucking camera down and help me.
And now she gets chased like from the beginning of the film, where her dress gets torn, her boobs come out.
Yeah, boob shot. Yeah. And then she bashes it. Well, I really thought she'd killed Ridley here.
She kind of smacks him on the back. He goes down. Then she runs to the van.
Yeah,
and escapes.
And just escapes. Like, I'm gone.
Don't mess with Texas.
So yeah, that stupid piece of music is layered in over the top.
The fucking cowboy bit.
Right, yeah, don't mess with Texas. It's like, see ya.
See ya, Tracy. Thanks for joining the film.
We'll see you in the sequel.
Is there a no?
No.
But now Ridley has gotten back up again and attacks Jason.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of left with Deborah, having this heartfelt moment with Jason, and then they hide in the safe room.
Well, yeah.
Deborah, Tony, Professor Maxwell.
Yeah.
They just get in the safe room, and that's where the film kind of ties itself up. I mean, it ends on a couple of rednecks shooting a girl.
Yeah, it was to lead into how night went into dawn with the rednecks out there, kind of shooting zombies, having a sport of it.
Yeah, but they leave it on that message of which one of us is really the monsters or something. And
like I said, that's what George was implying with Land. That's what I got from that, was that the zombies were the heroes now.
Yeah,
and the people are the villains, the monsters.
But I just didn't care. I didn't come to watch a Diary of the Dead movie for the zombies to be the fucking heroes.
Right.
If I want to watch hero fucking zombies, I'll watch Warm Bodies.
So, Ian, do you have any memorable or favourite scenes from Diary of the Dead?
All of the memories that I have for Diary of the Dead are just layers of fucking shit. Like, I laughed at that Samuel part and thought that was so funny. And yet it was everything that was missing from the Land of the Dead movie. It was fun. The Land of the Dead wasn't fun. This movie was attempting to be fun, where it really, 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 really should not have been. There were so many mistakes that I only have that scythe scene as a favourite scene out of the whole of a George A. Romero zombie movie.
Yeah.
It's fucking terrifying to say that.
Yeah. I mean, I have limited, trying to remember sequences from the film. I'll always remember the Amish guy. The scythe bit and the dynamite sequence was great.
Yeah.
I guess, the defib zombie was kind of fun. The character of Maxwell, I remember the professor character. He was the standout character, probably the standout performance of the film as well.
Yeah, but it's like he was bored to be there as well in some sequences.
Yeah. I liked all of the news presenter bits, even though it's just snippets.
And they're just in the background, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you get George A. Romero on screen, but
and he was, he was trying to cover up the fact that zombies were coming back.
What was the fuck? Why,
Fake
George?
news.
Fake news.
I really find it hard to recommend Diary of the Dead.
Don't.
I can't recommend it. I can't even recommend this as an act of curiosity. It's just bad on a story level. The performances are tedious to watch. The film just really feels soulless and aimless. There's nothing really worth mentioning that separates this film from all the other failed attempts at creating what started this genre in the first place.
Yeah.
This film is really boring. It's unwatchable in places, and it's just a shame to see a legend like George A. Romero fail so hard. As a massive fan of the zombie genre and of the Dead films, avoid this one.
Yeah.
I, for one, will never watch this film again. It is so disappointing that this film, it's kind of almost embarrassing when you realise the legend that made it.
You're never going to watch this again.
No.
You own it on DVD, don't you?
Yeah. Let's go watch the commentary, Ian.
Watch it again.
Let's go watch the special features, Ian.
No. Just no. Just no. Diary of the Dead is fucking is horrible, and it really hurts me to say that, because obviously a lot of people are going to sit there saying now, like, well, you're just hating on George A. Romero for the sake of hating on him. No, I'm not. He is a master. He's a master for what he did back in the day, but trying to attempt the same stuff in a new generation was I think the problem. We said it in Night of the Living Dead. He did not tick a certain box in Night of the Living Dead, so he lost out on all the rights. And then trying to make a new film in a new generation with a new style that everyone was trying to do, to connect it to this old universe that he doesn't even have a connection to, and then have the film come out with no connection to that universe. the only way anybody could really enjoy this film is if they have no idea who George A. Romero is and have never seen any of his films, and somebody has just gotten a copy thrown at them by somebody, you know, and they're like 12 years old and they're like, hey, let's watch a movie. Oh, this. You know, I really, really don't recommend this movie. I can't honestly say that there's anything redeeming about it. I'm struggling. I'm struggling to even articulate a word because I don't want to hate on it so bad because it's just shit.
It doesn't blemish George A. Romero.
No,
his legacy will survive beyond the bad films that he made.
Yeah, it's like shitty Hellraiser, shitty Halloween, shitty Friday, shitty.
It's just that George
doesn't
made
blemish
all
the whole
of these.
thing. No, what I'm saying is that they have shitty movies, but it doesn't blemish the whole idea.
No.
George A. Romero struggled with this. It doesn't work. It shouldn't even be recognised as part of the Dead series, and it's kind of a shame that it is.
Yeah. Thanks for watching Off the Shelf Reviews.
Here, you take this one.
No, I don't want to make this kind of movie.
I don't want to make this kind of movie either, but I can't change the script.